The large meeting room fell silent as Admiral Helena Chen walked in. Her uniform was perfect, but her eyes looked tired. 50 years had passed since humans first met aliens, and today marked 20 years since she had signed the Treaty of Cassiopeia. "Welcome back to Earth, Admiral," said President Okafor, not smiling. Helena nodded. She knew many people hated her for what she had done. The treaty had given humans a place in the Galactic Concord, a group of 27 alien species that ruled most of the known galaxy. But the price was high. Humans could not build warships, not a single one. "The aliens think we are too dangerous," she had explained 20 years ago. "They say we are unpredictable. They will only let us join if we agree not to build military ships." Some called her a hero for getting humans into the Concord. Others called her a traitor for accepting such harsh terms. But she had no choice. Earth was alone and weak. Saying no would have been worse. After the meeting, Helena walked down a quiet hallway when a man stepped out of the shadows. "We need to talk," said Director Malcolm Rivera of Earth Intelligence. His face was serious. "Not here." They met in a small, secure room deep underground. Rivera pressed a button, and the room's security systems activated. No one could hear them now. "What I'm about to show you is top secret," Rivera said, placing a small device on the table. A 3D image appeared, showing strange ships gathering at the edge of Concord space. "These are Vecri warships," he explained. "They've been building them for 5 years. Our agents count over 200 already, and more are coming." Helena felt cold fear in her stomach. The Vecri were known for taking over planets. They were members of the Concord, but stayed on the outer edges, far from Earth. "Have you told the Concord Council?" she asked. Rivera laughed without humor. 3 times. They say our evidence is inconclusive, and that the Vecri are building trade ships. The Vecri representative called us paranoid primitives. Helena studied the ship designs. They were clearly made for war, not trade. "How long do we have?" "Maybe a year, maybe less." She closed her eyes. Earth had only small defense ships, little more than armed shuttles, all that the treaty allowed. They wouldn't last 5 minutes against a real attack. "What about our own warships?" she asked quietly. "Could we build them secretly?" Rivera's face changed. "That would break the treaty. It could get us expelled from the Concord or worse. And if we do nothing, we die." Helena said. She'd spent 20 years following the rules, believing the Concord would protect Earth. Now she knew better. Rivera slid a folder across the table. "I've made a list of people we can trust. Former military officers, engineers, scientists. People who would help if asked." Helena opened the folder and saw dozens of names. The first was Darius Okoro, the best ship engineer she'd ever known. "The Vecri are coming," Rivera said. "We follow the rules and die, or we break them and maybe live." "What will it be, Admiral?" Helena closed the folder. 20 years ago, she'd made a deal to save humanity. Now she would have to break that deal, for the same reason. "Call them in," she said. "All of them. We have work to do." Darius Okoro wiped sweat from his forehead as he finished welding a support beam in the Jupiter mining station. The massive gas giant filled the viewport, its swirling clouds a mix of orange and red. As the lead engineer for the largest mining operation in the outer solar system, his days were long but satisfying. His wrist device beeped. A message appeared. Invitation to Admiral Chen's retirement party. Luna Colony, Dark Side. 3 days from now. Darius frowned. He hadn't spoken to Helena Chen in 15 years, not since he left the Earth Defense Force. And retirement party. The Admiral wasn't the type for parties. Something wasn't right. 3 days later, Darius stepped off the shuttle at Luna's Dark Side colony. The dome lights were dimmed to simulate night. A security officer checked his ID and whispered, "Basement level 3, room 12." This was definitely not a party. When the elevator doors opened to level 3, Darius saw armed guards in civilian clothes. They nodded and pointed him toward room 12. Inside, he found 20 people sitting around a large table. Most were former military, but he also recognized top scientists and industrial leaders. Admiral Chen stood at the head of the table. "Thank you all for coming. What we discuss here cannot leave this room." She pressed a button, and the image of Vekri warships appeared above the table. The Vekri are building an invasion fleet. The Concord refuses to act. Earth's defenses are almost non-existent because of the treaty I signed. Murmurs filled the room. A woman raised her hand. "Why should we trust you? You're the one who got us into this mess." "Fair question," Helena replied calmly. "I thought the treaty would protect us. I was wrong. Now I want to fix my mistake." Director Rivera stepped forward. "We've gathered you because each of you has skills we need. Engineering, weapons design, manufacturing, logistics." "For what?" someone asked. Helena took a deep breath. "To build warships, in secret." The room exploded with voices. "That's suicide. We'll be expelled from the Concord. The aliens will destroy us if they find out." Darius stayed quiet, thinking. Finally, he asked, "How would we hide such a project?" "The Concord has inspectors everywhere." A small woman with gray-streaked hair stood up. "I might have an answer for that." Dr. Sophia Wu was Earth's leading engineer in dual-purpose technologies. She touched her tablet, and a new image appeared. A mining ship design with hidden features. "On the surface, it's a standard mining vessel," she explained. "But these radiation shields can become military-grade defensive barriers. These mining lasers can reconfigure into weapons. The ore storage areas can house missile systems." Darius leaned forward, impressed. "The inspectors would need to tear apart the ships to find these modifications." "Exactly," Sophia nodded. "Every component serves a legitimate civilian purpose until activated for defense." Helena looked around the room. "I won't lie. This is dangerous. If caught, we'll be charged with treaty violations. But if we do nothing, the Vekri will come, and Earth will fall." The room grew quiet. Then Darius stood. "I spent 10 years building mining ships. I can build these too. I'm in." One by one, others nodded or raised their hands. "Good," Helena said. "From this moment, we are the Shadow Project. We have 1 year to build a fleet that doesn't officially exist." Rivera handed out secure communication devices. "We'll create a legitimate company as cover, Artemis Mining Consortium. All work will happen in the outer system, away from most inspections." As the meeting ended, Darius approached Helena. "This is going to be the hardest engineering job of my life." She put a hand on his shoulder. "If we succeed, no one may ever know what we did. If we fail, everyone will." "Then let's not fail," he replied. Director Rivera sat alone in his dark office on Earth. Reports from the Shadow Project filled his screen. The secret fleet was growing faster than expected. Helena had teams working across the solar system. On Venus, they built hidden weapons systems in old volcanic research stations. On Mercury, scientists developed advanced targeting computers disguised as solar study equipment. On Mars, underground factories produced ship components labeled as colony building materials. Everything moved through regular shipping lanes, hidden in plain sight. The project was working, but they needed more time. His secure line beeped. The caller's face was hidden. "I know what you're doing," said a disguised voice. "Building warships against the treaty. I have proof." Rivera's heart pounded, but his face remained calm. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Save it," the voice replied. "I want 50 million credits transferred to my account, or I send my evidence to the Concord Council." A blackmailer. Someone inside the project had turned traitor. "I need time to arrange this," Rivera said carefully. "You have 48 hours. After the call ended, Rivera contacted Helena on the emergency channel. "We have a serious problem," he explained. "Someone knows." Helena's face showed no fear, only determination. Can you find them? Already working on it, but we need to prepare for exposure. How much of the fleet is ready? Rivera checked the latest reports. 12 ships are operational. 7 more need final systems. The rest are still under construction. Not enough to defend Earth, Helena said grimly. But maybe enough to evacuate key personnel if things go badly. Let's hope it doesn't come to that. While Rivera hunted the blackmailer on Earth, trouble was brewing elsewhere. In deep space, the Vekri spy who had infiltrated the inspection team reached his hidden communication post. He prepared to send a full report to the Vekri High Command about the unusual human mining ships. Just as he activated his transmitter, alarms blared. Earth intelligence agents had tracked him from Saturn. "Stop! You're under arrest." An agent shouted, weapon drawn. The Vekri spy reached for a hidden blade. In the fight that followed, he managed to send a partial message before being captured. It wasn't complete, but it was enough to alert his leaders that something unusual was happening in the human solar system. In the Vekri command ship, Admiral Kritak reviewed the partial transmission. "The humans are hiding something," he told his officers. The inspection found unusual power systems in their mining vessels. His second-in-command asked, could they be building warships? Kritak laughed. "Impossible. They are too weak and obedient to break the treaty. But whatever they're doing might interfere with our plans." He studied the star map showing their invasion route to Earth. "Move up the timeline," he ordered. "We attack in 3 months instead of 6. Back on Earth, Rivera finally identified the blackmailer. A junior engineer with gambling debts. Instead of paying him, Rivera gave him a choice: prison for treason, or join a dangerous mission to gather intelligence on the Vekri. "Why would I help you?" the engineer asked bitterly. Rivera showed him the latest images of the growing Vekri fleet. "Because if we fail, there won't be an Earth for you to spend those credits on." The engineer stared at the images. "I'll help," he whispered. Rivera nodded. "Good, because we just lost 3 months of preparation time." 6 months passed quickly. The rings of Saturn glittered outside Darius's new office window. The view was beautiful, but he had no time to enjoy it. As chief engineer of the Artemis Mining Consortium's Saturn division, his days were packed with work. "The outer hull of Mining Ship 7 is complete," his assistant reported. "It looks exactly like our commercial models." Darius nodded. "Good. What about the inner systems?" Dr. Wu's team finished installing the special shield generators. They look just like radiation protection equipment. If anyone scans them, they'll read as standard mining tech. This was their strategy: build ships that looked normal on the outside, but had hidden military capabilities inside. The Artemis Mining Consortium was real, selling resources from the outer planets and moons. This gave them the perfect cover to build their secret fleet. Darius walked through the large construction bay. 10 ships were being built at once. Workers moved quietly, each knowing the importance of their secret task. His wrist device beeped with an urgent message from security. "Concord inspection ship approaching. ETA 30 minutes. His heart raced. This was their first real test. All teams switched to civilian protocols, he announced over the comm system. "This is not a drill. Hide all military components. Remember your cover stories." Workers rushed to conceal anything suspicious. Special tools disappeared into hidden compartments. Military-grade materials were covered with regular mining equipment. 25 minutes later, a sleek alien ship docked at their station. 4 inspectors stepped out, 3 from different alien species and 1 that looked human but moved strangely. "Welcome to Artemis Mining." Darius greeted them with a practiced smile. "We're honored by your visit." The lead inspector, a tall blue-skinned alien, nodded. "This is a routine check. The Concord monitors all human industrial facilities." "Of course, we have nothing to hide," Darius said, feeling the irony of his words. "Please follow me." He led them through the facility, explaining each area as a normal mining operation. The inspectors scanned everything with their advanced devices. The human-looking inspector seemed especially interested in their work. He asked detailed questions about the ship's propulsion systems and power cores. These are unusually powerful for mining vessels, he noted, examining a power core. Darius was ready with an answer. Saturn's rings have dense material that requires more power to extract. Our efficiency ratings are in the official logs. The inspector stared at him for a long moment, then nodded. After 3 tense hours, the inspection team seemed satisfied. As they prepared to leave, the human-looking inspector asked to use the restroom. Security cameras showed him taking a different corridor instead, heading toward a restricted area. "We have a problem," the security chief whispered to Darius. "That's not where the restroom is." They found the inspector in a storage room, scanning components with a hidden device. When confronted, he smiled coldly. "Just lost my way," he said. After the inspection ship left, Darius called an emergency meeting. The human-looking inspector was Vekri. Their intelligence officer confirmed. They can alter their appearance to look like other species. "Did he find anything?" Helena Chen asked over the secure channel. "I don't think so," Darius replied. "But he was suspicious. We need to be more careful." "Or work faster," Helena said. The Vekri wouldn't send a spy unless they were planning something soon. Darius looked at the ships under construction. They had 7 complete. They needed many more. "Then we'll work faster," he promised. Captain Eliza Moreau stood on the bridge of the mining ship Defiance, the first completed vessel of the Shadow Fleet. Though it looked like a standard mining ship from the outside, inside it was a fully armed warship. The Defiance was on its first test run in the Kuiper Belt, far beyond Neptune, where few ships ever traveled. "All systems are operating at full capacity," Captain reported her first officer. Eliza nodded. "Good. Let's test the weapons systems next. Target that small asteroid." Before they could begin, her sensor officer called out, "Captain, unknown ship detected at bearing 047. It's not broadcasting any identification." "Show me," Eliza ordered. The screen displayed a sleek vessel moving slowly through the belt. Its design was distinctly Vekri. "It's a scout ship," said her tactical officer, who had studied all known alien vessel types. "They're mapping the area." Eliza faced a difficult choice. The Defiance was supposed to remain hidden. Any contact with alien ships risked exposing the Shadow Project. But a Vekri scout this far into the solar system was dangerous. "Open a standard mining vessel channel," she decided. "We'll act normal and see what they do." "This is Earth Mining Vessel Defiance. You are in a restricted mining zone. Please identify yourself." The Vekri ship didn't respond. Instead, it turned and accelerated toward them. "They're scanning us," the sensor officer reported. "Deep scans, looking at our internal systems." "They know," Eliza realized, or they suspect. The Vekri ship suddenly powered up its weapons. "They're targeting us, Captain." Eliza took a deep breath. This wasn't a test anymore. "Battle stations. Drop the mining ship disguise. Power up all defense systems." The crew moved quickly. Hidden panels slid open, revealing weapon ports. Shield generators hummed to life. "They'd fired," shouted her tactical officer. The Vekri energy beam struck the Defiance, but the shields held. "Return fire," Eliza ordered. "Disable their engines if possible. We need to capture them." The Defiance's hidden weapons fired for the first time in actual combat. Bright energy beams struck the Vekri scout ship, damaging its propulsion system. The alien vessel spun, then fired back with everything it had. For 10 minutes, the ships exchanged fire in the empty space of the Kuiper Belt. It was the first battle between humans and aliens since before the treaty. Finally, the Vekri ship's weapons went silent, its engines dead, but not before it sent a short distress signal toward Vekri space. "What now, Captain?" asked her first officer. "If we leave them, they'll report what they saw. And if we destroy them, we break interstellar law," Eliza said. She had never killed a defenseless enemy. and wasn't going to start now. She made her decision. Prepare boarding teams. We're taking that ship and its crew. Maybe they have information we can use. 2 hours later, the Defiance moved away from the Kuiper Belt, towing the disabled Vekri scout ship. 5 Vekri crew members were in the break, their ship's data being downloaded by the human technicians. Eliza sent an encrypted message to Admiral Chen. Made contact with Vekri Scout. Engagement successful. Have prisoners and vessel. Request instructions. The response came quickly. Bring them to the Saturn base. Well done, Captain. You've just fought and won humanity's first secret space battle. Eliza looked out at the stars. She knew this was just the beginning. Admiral Helena Chen hadn't worn her formal uniform in years. Now, as she entered the grand hall of the Galactic Concord Assembly on their central space station, the stiff collar reminded her of how much she hated politics. Earth Representative Chen, announced the alien attendant, here to address concerns about unusual industrial activity. All 27 alien species had representatives in the huge circular room. The Vekri delegate, tall with gray skin that could change color to mimic other species, watched her with cold eyes. Helena walked to the center platform, her heartbeat steady despite the danger. The captured Vekri scout ship had confirmed their worst fears. A full invasion fleet was coming, but she couldn't reveal that she knew. She couldn't mention the Shadow Fleet or the prisoners. She had to lie without actually lying. The Xenta chairperson, an insect-like being, spoke first. Several members have reported concerns about increased mining and manufacturing in your system, Earth Representative. The scale suggests possible treaty violations. Helena nodded respectfully. Thank you for your concern, Chairperson. Earth has indeed increased our resource gathering. Our population has grown, and we need more materials for our colonies. Our inspectors report unusual power systems in your mining ships, said the Vekri representative, his skin rippling with suppressed anger. Earth has developed more efficient energy systems, Helena replied calmly. All designs were submitted to the Treaty Compliance Office and approved. This was technically true. The basic designs were approved. The hidden military features were simply not included in those submissions. For 2 hours, Helena answered questions, carefully choosing her words. She never directly lied but never revealed the truth. It was a dangerous dance. Meanwhile, back in the Saturn base, Dr. Sophia Wu made an important discovery from the captured Vekri ship. Their shield technology is incredible, she told Darius as they examined the alien equipment. It's built to resist specific energy signatures used by Concord weapons. Darius looked up from his work. Can we adapt it for our ships? Sophia's eyes lit up. Better. I can modify our weapons to bypass their shields completely. They won't expect it. As Dr. Wu worked on the new technology, Director Rivera prepared Earth's official defenses. These small, treaty-compliant ships couldn't stop the Vekri, but they needed to maintain the appearance of normalcy. Position half the defense force near Neptune, he ordered. Make it look like a routine patrol. The rest stay near Earth. His assistant looked worried. Sir, those ships won't last 5 minutes against a real attack. I know, Rivera said grimly, but they'll buy time for the Shadow Fleet to mobilize. Back at the Concord Assembly, the questioning finally ended. The chairperson announced, "We find no clear evidence of treaty violations at this time, but increased inspections will continue." As Helena left the chamber, the Vekri representative approached her. "We know you're hiding something," he whispered. "Our forces are already on the move. Whatever you're planning, you're too late." Helena's face revealed nothing. "I don't know what you mean, Representative. Earth honors its treaties." But as she boarded her ship to return home, Helena sent an urgent encrypted message. "Accelerate all Shadow Project operations. The Vekri are coming sooner than we thought." The countdown to invasion had begun. The emergency alarm woke Captain Thomas Lee from deep sleep. He commanded Outpost Triton, Earth's furthest defense station near Neptune. It was one of the small legal defense posts allowed under the treaty. "Report," he shouted, running onto the command deck. Multiple ships entering the solar system, his sensor officer said, voice shaking. At least 30 large vessels. They're not responding to hails. The screen showed the incoming ships, all Vekri military vessels. This wasn't a raid or a border test. This was an invasion. Captain Lee activated the emergency channel to Earth. This is Outpost Triton. Vekri battle fleet has entered the system. Request immediate assistance. He knew help wouldn't come in time. His small station had only 5 defense ships, each barely armed. But he had his orders. Launch all ships, he commanded. Defensive formation. We need to slow them down as long as possible. The 5 small Earth ships moved to intercept the massive Vekri fleet. It was like watching children stand against giants. The battle lasted less than 10 minutes. The Vekri ships destroyed the human vessels with ease. Then they turned their weapons on Outpost Triton. Captain Lee's last message was simple. They're breaking through. May God help Earth. The news reached the Concord Assembly within hours. The Vekri representative stood proudly before the shocked delegates. We have launched a peacekeeping operation in the Earth system, he announced. We have proof that humans have been secretly developing illegal weapons. He displayed images of strange devices. These were found in Earth facilities. They are clearly weapons components. The human ambassador, not Helena Chen, looked confused. Those aren't our weapons. We've never seen those before. He was telling the truth. The Vekri had created fake evidence of weapons programs that didn't exist. The irony was that they had missed the real secret project, the Shadow Fleet. As the Concord delegates argued about what to do, Helena Chen watched from her command ship, Phoenix, hidden in Saturn's rings. The official Earth defenses were being overwhelmed exactly as expected. The Vekri have destroyed the Neptune outposts, reported her communications officer. They're moving toward the Mars defense line. Helena looked at the tactical display. 32 secret warships were ready, with 15 more nearly complete. Not enough to defeat the entire Vekri fleet, but enough to surprise them. She opened a secure channel to all Shadow Project cells throughout the solar system. This is Admiral Chen. Operation Lazarus is now active. I repeat, Operation Lazarus is now active. Across the solar system, hidden ships powered up their real systems. Mining vessels transformed as weapon ports opened and shields activated. Cargo ships revealed missile launchers. Science stations switched to military communication frequencies. Helena turned to her crew on the Phoenix, the largest of the Shadow Fleet ships. The Vekri think they're facing a defenseless Earth. Let's show them how wrong they are. Her executive officer looked nervous. The Concord might declare us outlaws for building these ships. Helena smiled grimly. If we lose, it won't matter what the Concord thinks. If we win, we can deal with the politics later. She gave the final order. All Shadow Fleet vessels move to intercept positions. The real battle for Earth begins now. The Vekri commander Grithak stood confidently on his flagship's bridge as they approached Mars. The red planet glowed on the view screen, with Earth's small defense fleet gathered in orbit. Pathetic, he said to his officers. 20 small ships with minimal weapons. This is all the mighty Earth can muster. His second-in-command laughed. The treaty served its purpose. They obeyed while we prepared. Open communications, Grithak ordered. Let's give them a chance to surrender before we destroy them. The Mars defense fleet was indeed small, just as the Vekri expected. What they didn't know was that these ships were merely bait. Captain Miguel Santos commanded the official Mars defense. He had been briefed about the Shadow Fleet, but had to play his part. Vekri vessels, this is Earth Defense Force. You have violated our territory. Withdraw immediately. Grithak smiled at the human's courage. Your planet will be under Vekri control within 2 days. Surrender now and save lives. We will never surrender, Santos replied, exactly as instructed. The Vekri ships moved forward, weapons charging. Then something unexpected happened. Commander, called the Vekri sensor officer. New energy signatures detected. multiple vessels appearing from everywhere. On the tactical display, new ships suddenly appeared from Saturn's rings, Jupiter's moons, the asteroid belt, and even from what had seemed to be regular cargo lanes. 47 vessels of various sizes materialized on Vecri scanners. Each bore the same symbol, a phoenix rising from flames. Impossible, Grithak shouted. Humans don't have warships. The treaty. He was interrupted by a transmission broadcasting on all frequencies. Captain Elizamoro's face appeared on the screen. This is the Earth Defense Force. You are in violation of sovereign human space. You will power down your weapons and withdraw, or we will respond with appropriate force. Grithak stared in disbelief. The humans had tricked everyone. While following the treaty on the surface, they had built a secret fleet underneath. Open fire, he ordered. Destroy them all. The Vecri flagship fired the first shot, and the real battle began. The Shadow Fleet moved with surprising coordination. Ships that appeared to be mining vessels unleashed powerful weapons. Cargo haulers launched swarms of fighter drones. Research stations revealed missile platforms. Darius Okoro, on board the engineering vessel Prometheus, coordinated rapid system adjustments across the fleet. Reconfigure shield frequencies. Adapt to their weapon signatures. Dr. Wu's modifications, based on the captured Vecri scout ship, were working perfectly. The human vessels could penetrate Vecri shields while their own shields held strong. Admiral Chen directed the battle from the Phoenix. Groups 2 and 4 flank their right side. Group 3 protect Mars Defense Fleet. Group 1 target their flagship. The Vecri had more ships and more firepower, but they faced an enemy they hadn't prepared for. The human vessels used strange tactics, separating and regrouping in unpredictable patterns, using asteroids for cover, sometimes appearing to retreat only to circle back with devastating attacks. They fight like wild animals, a Vecri officer complained. No, Grithak replied, watching his carefully arranged formation fall apart under the human assault. They fight like humans. For the first time in his military career, Grithak felt something new. Doubt. This wasn't supposed to happen. Humans were weak, obedient, predictable. But the ships facing him now told a different story. He opened a channel to the Vecri main fleet waiting at the edge of the solar system. Send reinforcements, he ordered. All of them. Now. The red planet Mars glowed against the darkness of space as the battle raged around it. Human and Vecri ships fired at each other, creating brilliant flashes of light. The Shadow Fleet fought with everything they had against the larger Vecri force. Their left flank is weakening, reported Helena's tactical officer aboard the Phoenix. But they still outnumber us 2-1. Helena studied the battle display. The humans were fighting well, but they couldn't keep this up forever. They needed a decisive advantage. Tell Captain Moreau to take her battle group behind Phobos, she ordered. When the Vecri follow, Mining Group 6 will ambush them from the moon's shadow. This was how the humans fought, using the terrain of space itself, setting traps, changing tactics constantly. The Vecri, used to fighting in strict formations, struggled to counter these unpredictable movements. On the Vecri flagship, Commander Grithak grew frustrated. How are they penetrating our shields? He demanded as another of his ships reported heavy damage. His science officer replied, "They've modified their weapons to match the exact frequency of our shield systems. They shouldn't have that technology." Grithak remembered the missing scout ship. They captured one of our vessels. They've been studying our technology. Meanwhile, Darius Okoro coordinated from the engineering ship Prometheus, constantly updating the fleet's systems during battle. Reroute power to forward shields, he told a mining vessel under heavy fire. Use your mining drones as decoys. The converted mining ships released swarms of small drones, originally designed to collect ore, but now programmed to confuse Vecri targeting systems. The drones surrounded Vecri ships, interfering with their sensors. Dr. Sophia Wu watched from her science vessel, analyzing Vecri responses in real time. They're adapting their shields, she reported, sending new weapon frequencies to all ships now. This was humanity's advantage. Their ability to improvise, to change plans in the middle of battle, to use their tools in ways never intended. The battle continued for hours. Human ships took damage but kept fighting. The Vekri lost vessel after vessel to the smaller but more nimble Shadow Fleet. We can win this, Helena thought, watching the Vekri formation break apart under their attacks. Then her communications officer called out, "Admiral, the Vekri flagship is activating some kind of quantum device. It's sending a signal beyond our solar system." Helena's heart sank. She knew what this meant. They're calling the main invasion force. On the Vekri flagship, Grithak activated their most powerful communication technology. His message was simple. The humans have a secret fleet. Send all available ships immediately. The response came quickly. Main battle group responding. 500 ships en route. Hold position. Grithak smiled despite his losses. The humans had fought well, but they couldn't stand against the full might of the Vekri armada. Back on the Phoenix, Helena gathered her top officers for an emergency meeting. "The main Vekri force will be here in hours," she told them. "Nearly 5 times what we're fighting now. We can't win a direct battle against those numbers." "Then we surrender?" asked her executive officer. Helena's eyes flashed with determination. "Never. If we can't beat them with numbers, we'll beat them with brains." She pointed to the tactical display showing the Vekri flagship. "We need to strike at the head. I'm taking the Phoenix and a small team directly to their command ship. We need to find proof of what they're planning." It was their most desperate move yet, but Helena knew that sometimes, to win the war, you had to risk everything. The main Vekri armada appeared at the edge of the solar system, a massive fleet of over 500 warships. They moved in perfect formation toward Mars, where the first battle still raged. Admiral Helena Chen stood on the bridge of the Phoenix, watching the sensor display with calm determination. "The strike team is ready," reported Captain Moreau, who would lead the main fleet while Helena took a dangerous mission to the Vekri flagship. "Good," Helena nodded. "Remember the plan. Keep most of their fleet engaged while we slip through." She turned to her small strike team. Darius Okoro, Dr. Sophia Wu, and a dozen elite soldiers. "We have one chance at this." The information from the captured Vekri prisoners gave us their command ship layout. We get in, find their central database, and get out. The Phoenix and 3 smaller vessels broke away from the main battle, using Mars itself to hide their approach toward the Vekri flagship. They activated the special stealth systems that Dr. Wu had developed. "Their sensors can't detect us," Darius confirmed as they closed in on the massive Vekri command ship. "But this will only work for about 10 minutes. It was enough. The Phoenix docked with the Vekri flagship using an emergency access port that every Concord vessel had to include by law. The strike team moved quickly through the alien corridors, following the maps they had memorized from prisoner information. They reached the Central Command Center with 2 minutes to spare. While the soldiers secured the area, Dr. Wu connected her devices to the Vekri computer system. "I'm in," she said after a tense minute, downloading their data now. What they found shocked them all. The Vekri hadn't just planned to invade Earth. They had systematically manipulated the entire Concord for decades. They had engineered conflicts between species, falsified evidence, and pushed for treaties that limited potential rivals like humans. They'd done this before, Helena realized. Looking at records of 3 other species, the Vekri had conquered through similar tactics. This is how they expand their territory. "Download complete," Dr. Wu announced. Just then, alarms blared throughout the ship. "They've detected us," Darius warned. "We have 3 minutes to get back to the Phoenix." The team fought their way back, barely making it to their ship before Vekri soldiers overwhelmed the area. As the Phoenix detached and raced away, Helena transmitted the Vekri data to all Concord species on an emergency channel, evidence of the Vekri's decades of manipulation and planned conquests. Meanwhile, the main battle had turned desperate. The human fleet was surrounded by the vastly larger Vecri armada when something unexpected happened. New ships detected, called a sensor officer. They're Concord vessels. The Concord peacekeeping force, responding to the evidence Helena had sent, arrived to stop the Vecri attack. Leading them was the Exenta chairperson's personal vessel. This conflict is now under Concord jurisdiction, the chairperson announced to all ships. Vecri forces will stand down immediately. In the aftermath, the Concord Assembly held an emergency session. The Treaty of Cassiopeia was formally amended. Earth's actions were declared legitimate self-defense, and humans gained the right to maintain a proper defense fleet. Admiral Helena Chen addressed the assembly, standing tall in her formal uniform. Humans built warships when forbidden because we had to survive, she told the gathered representatives. But we hope to build peace instead, now that truth has been revealed. As the Shadow Fleet took its place as Earth's official navy, humanity's reputation changed throughout the galaxy. They were no longer seen as dangerous primitives, but as a species you shouldn't corner, one that respects rules until the rules don't protect them, then does whatever necessary to survive. We followed their rules until they tried to kill us, Darius commented as he and Helena watched Earth's new fleet in formation. I wonder what lesson the galaxy will learn from that. Helena smiled. A simple one. Don't underestimate humans.